Hey, what's up, people? Today I'm gonna be sharing 5 tricks that sound like they're gonna be hard, but they're really not. They're actually pretty easy. The reason I say they sound hard is because they have words like switch and nollie and slide, things that sound like they'd be oh so difficult, but really, trust me, they're not. And I mean, like every skateboarding trick, it's gonna take practice. It's not like you're gonna magically learn this stuff, and of course it's gonna take determination. Anyway, the first trick I'm gonna be discussing with you, giving you some tips, showing you some examples of, is the nollie varial flip. Sounds like it's gonna be hard because you have to nollie, you have to kickflip, and you have to shove it. What? That's way too much. No, it's not. The reason this trick is easy is, let me just tell you some secrets here. When you're a nollie, leverage is a lot easier to get. What I mean by that is it's a lot easier to turn your board. It takes a lot less effort to get more out of it. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And a nollie varial flip, in my opinion, is much easier than a nollie kickflip. I learned nollie varials. Actually, I learned nollie trays before I learned nollie kickflips. And the reason I say it's easier is because it's a lighter flick. It's a great way to build that flick muscle to work your way up to switch flips and nollie flips. Anyway, let me just give you a quick rundown of the foot position. So I'm gonna be riding in this direction. I'm gonna be popping off the nose. And I like to have my weight pretty much centered in the nose. As for the kickflip foot, I have it slightly angled. That helps me with varials. I'm not sure why. It just does okay. Honestly, I think it makes it so it's easier for your foot to get out of the way. And it's preferable if you know how to nollie shove. And really, that's all you need to know, is you just give it a little shove and just the slightest little flick. It really doesn't take much. Just give it a few tries, work it out. I'm confident that you have what it takes. If you can nollie shove, you can nollie varial. Let me show you a few examples. But first I gotta change my shoe. What do you think of these sick new Jocelyn Volks? Safety it as much as you need to. Then when you work up the courage, all you gotta do is just freaking land on it. And like you may have seen, those examples weren't very good. But I'm trying not to sweat out here. Psychologically, I need to convince you guys that I don't sweat so that you think I'm better at skateboarding than I really am. Alright, so the next trick, I'm gonna do one more flip trick, if you can call it that. And that is a nollie backside big spin. Maybe it's front side. Anyway, for the sake of you guys understanding what I'm trying to talk about, I'm gonna call a heel side nollie big spin. Show you one real quick, and then I'll explain how to do it. Alright y'all, so why do I think this trick's easy? Well, I'm about to give you the lowdown here. So the thing that makes this trick easy is you're going to be popping and you're going to be pivoting with your exact same foot. This is the foot you mainly want to focus on, you want to watch. When that board comes around, you catch it with this foot, you do the pivot, whatever you need to. Sometimes you might not get full rotation. You can land this trick pretty sketchy and still not fall. It's just all around a cool trick to have down. Easy trick to just do at the skate park after a line. Alright, so the next trick that I'm gonna teach you, actually I really don't think I need to tell you too much about this trick. It's mostly self-explanatory. It just kind of sounds like it would be hard, but when you actually go out and try it, you'll be surprised. It's easy as heck, y'all. And that trick is a switch rock to regular. I know doing something switch on transition sounds super terrifying, but if you have some basic transition skills, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you. Anyway, I'm going to have to get my ramp out. So for the switch rock to regular, it's going to be beneficial. It's going to be necessary that you have basic transition skills, that you know how to ride on ramps, both regular and switch. And if you can do that, I'm pretty confident you can learn this trick. And the reason this one is easy is because you're going back to regular. I mean, you have to ride into it switch, which is the hard part, but everything from there is super easy. Let me get one for you and I'll see if I can think of any tips. Oh yeah, and you're definitely gonna need a ramp. Chances are you might have a skate park near you, and hopefully they have transition. If you don't have a ramp, well, I guess you're just get out of luck, bro. Anyway, let's get one real quick. I think the best tip I can give for this trick is to just kind of ride at it, approach it at your own pace. Just go faster and faster each time, get closer and closer to the coping, and eventually check that deck. There's really not a whole lot to it. It just kind of sounds scary because it has switch in the name. But hey, if you learn this, guess what? You now know a new switch trick, and you're about to be God level, dude. Anyway, chances are, if you can do this trick, then you could easily evolve it into a fakie nose stall. The only difference is your weight distribution and the timing that you put your weight down. And honestly, there's a whole bunch of easy tricks you can learn on a ramp like this. I got this one from OC Ramps, but you could easily build one of these about the same size. If I had to guess, it'd probably be about $60 or $70 worth of materials. Yeah, pretty cheap. You could easily build a ramp. You'd only have to mow like 3 or 4 lawns if you don't have a job and are super broke. Anyway, I'm rambling. Super easy trick. Go learn that one if you guys have transition. And if you don't, well, guess what? I'm about to teach you a few rail tricks. And I saved the rail tricks for last because they probably are the harder of this list of tricks. So the first rail trick, easy rail trick that I want to show you guys, teach you about, is the nose slide. I'm not sure which one's more difficult, a board slide or a nose slide, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to say a nose slide is easier. I see people learning that one first more often. However, I learned it way later, so I'm kind of an oddball in that sense. Another reason I wanted to teach you guys nose slides is because I feel like they're one of the most versatile slide grind tricks out there. You can apply it to a whole lot of materials. It works on all sorts of ledges, hubbas, wood, whatever you feel like nose sliding. Anyway, I'm gonna get a few for you and see if I can think of any tips to help you all out. Alright, just did several nose slides, and I think I have some good tips for you. So the number one hardest thing for me when I was learning this trick was just really paying attention to my front foot and making sure that I was aiming my front foot to the rail. I know that sounds simple because I was so used to board sliding, it was really easy for me to go over at first, but that's because I wasn't aiming. Another thing that makes this kind of weird too is finding the right space between the rail and your board to get onto the nose. That's just something you're gonna have to mess with. I was afraid of this trick, and then one day I decided to do it and I learned it, and it's been easy ever since. Just make sure I explain this correctly. You roll up to the rail, you put your weight on the front of your board on the nose, you slide, and as you near the end of the rail, now you're gonna kind of dip the board down slightly and pivot out and roll away clean. Really common problem with the nose slide is you'll get onto it and you'll turn too much, and that'll cause your wheels to hit the rail, and that might cause you to stop. But something you can do with that is, if you notice that's happening, just turn your shoulders, and it's really easy to come out of this trick fakie. So if you managed to do that, guess what? You didn't just learn one trick, you learned 2 tricks. Anyway, I guarantee that you can learn this trick. Might take a while, might take a day, might take a week, might take a month. And if you're like me, it might take you years to work up courage to it. But if you do, you're gonna learn it quick. Trust me, easy. Oh, and I just thought of one other thing here. On this nose slide, you really don't wanna lean back. I think that's the only thing that you don't wanna do. It helps if you're just kind of straight up and down, or leaning slightly forward. It doesn't take much, so don't go overboard with it. Just don't lean back. That's definitely not gonna help. Don't be afraid of the rail, because once you got it, once you learn it, you'll realize how easy it was, and then you'll think it's ridiculous that you haven't known it. So the next trick that I'm going to explain to you is the Nollie Smith grind. And I know that sounds like it'd be really freaking difficult, but trust me, it's not. It doesn't take much movement at all. Just takes a little bit of weight distribution and a little bit of determination. Anyway, I haven't gotten one on the square rail yet, so I'm basically going to be learning how to do them on the square rail. I'm hoping that it's going to be easy. Hopefully I get a good one, and I will tell you all the little secrets that you need to know afterwards. And you're definitely going to need a lot of wax if you're doing it on a square rail. Obviously, more friction, more resistance. Oh, right. Well, I got a pretty bad one, like third try. And now to explain this trick and why I think it's easy, because you may have seen I didn't really have to pop to get on it. But that being said, the higher the obstacle, obviously, the more you're going to have to pop. And the lower the obstacle, the easier this trick is. I learned this on a very low rail, which helped out a lot because I really barely had to do any action to get onto the rail. This rail, however, is a little bit more challenging for me because it actually does require a little bit of lift. But let me go ahead and show you everything you're going to need to know to learn this trick. So obviously you're going to be rolling at this nollie, meaning you're going to be popping off your nose. And for this trick, it kind of helps if you're decently close to the rail. Obviously that's something you're going to have to mess with. Find which space works to you. And you just lift up and you get that back truck on. Once you feel that back truck is on, then you put a lot of your weight on the back foot, and the front foot, all it does is just kind of pushes the board into the rail, kind of guides it. And as you can see, this just slides really easy. When you lock into place, you lock in. It's very easy to keep your balance. The only thing is when you come out, it helps if you kind of straighten out, put a little bit more weight on the back, and roll out of it. What can make this trick very challenging and awkward is coming out of it. I think that's the most difficult part. A lot of the times when I was first doing it, I would just kind of nosedive, and it didn't feel very cool. But it's something you're probably going to experience if you're learning this trick. Just a heads up. So quick recap, you pop on, you get that back truck on, you put your weight on the back truck, you use your front foot to kind of guide it and push it into the rail just slightly, and then as you come to the end of the rail, you straighten out, put more weight on the back, and roll out like a freaking champion. And like I was saying, the lower the obstacle, the easier this is going to be for you. I haven't tried it on a box. I have a feeling it'd be more difficult on a box than it would a rail. And I feel like once you get this trick down, it's going to open up the doors for a lot of other tricks. So what happened with me is I think I learned this trick first, and then I ended up learning nollie lip slides afterwards, which is a really fun trick, by the way. And I haven't learned regular smiths yet. I feel like I still need to be better at this nollie smith. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. But once I get better at it, I feel like it's gonna help with regular smiths tremendously, bigly. Anyway, y'all, I'll do a quick trick recap. Actually, I'm gonna try to get a better nollie smith really quick. Alright, people, I hadn't done this trick on this rail yet, so I'm pretty stoked, even though those weren't very good. Which brings me to my next point. Mustering up the courage to try the trick in the first place is probably the hardest thing you can do in skateboarding. But if you can find the bravery and the courage and the intelligence inside of you to go out and try something, I guarantee you can learn anything you want in skateboarding. That being said, I said easy a lot in these videos, but these tricks aren't necessarily easy. What I meant by that is just they're easier than you might think they would be. But the thing is, these are pretty freaking basic in a sense, and also very versatile, which is why I wanted to teach you these specific tricks. I think you can evolve them. They'll help you overall. And maybe these tricks are a little too scary for you. Feel free to recommend something that I might be able to teach you in the comments. I would be glad to help as much as I can. Anyway, now it's your time to go out there and try. Go learn. Skateboarding's tough, but so are you, maybe. Go learn some tricks. 10% physical, 90% mental, 120% humid AF out here. And the mosquitoes are basically giving me acupuncture, so I think I'm gonna go inside and chill. I hope I helped you. If I didn't help you, hopefully you got some enjoyment or some inspiration. You can hit that like button if you want to, and you could subscribe if you're new. Why not, bro? Anyway, I'll see you later, and good luck with your skateboarding adventures. Later. Bye.